Alrighty, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Serving Nerve, where we talk about whatever we want, and today we are going to be going through the carnivore diet. Yeah, so we're going to be going through some TikToks, carnivore cringe, and when I say cringe, it's because it's carnivore. Listen, as much as you want to say keto's good, or low carb's good, or whatever, the fact that your diet as a carnivore eater, being on the carnivore diet, excludes obviously healthy foods like fruits and vegetables, it's kind of cringy. And it's usually just for aesthetic purposes or this weird, almost orthorexic perception of what it is to be healthy when it comes to a dietary pattern. I don't really like it. I'm personally biased against the carnivore diet. I think it's a bad idea and should not be done if you want to save your heart and your toilet at the same time. But saying that, we'll go through some of the videos. I'm just going to point out a few things that I disagree with. And yeah. Now, a little bit of context. I actually was vegan in 2016 all the way through to 2023. So I was about a 7-year vegan. And before that, I was raised mostly plant-based. And even now, I still eat mostly plant-based with a little bit of animal product here and there, like fish and eggs. I still don't eat dairy and red meat and stuff. So my perspective is obviously a little bit more on the biased side because I have a different perception of what is healthy. And also what I suppose is excessive from my perception when it comes to eating animal products. So I'm not trying to act like some sort of vegan martyr or anything like that. And I'm also not trying to act entirely anti-animal product. I think people are going to do what they want no matter what. But I'm just giving you a little bit of context and also explaining that I do have a bias against the carnivore diet initially just because, God, there's so much cringe. And the new stuff that you see now on TikTok isn't even close to where I was in 2016, seeing what I saw. And we're going to go through all of it. Trust me. This is the tip of the iceberg. We aren't even, at tier 2 yet. We're gonna go all the way down to the very bottom of that disgusting pile of cold waste, and we're gonna find out what this is really all about. Trust me, where it started is not where it's at right now. Anyways, let's just get into the video. I hope you all enjoy.
I eat on a high-fat carnivore diet. For breakfast, I have my coffee with some butter, of course, 4 eggs, baked bacon, and for dinner, I have a ribeye with some wild-caught shrimp made in butter, and to top it off, add some more butter.
I love how somehow people on the carnivore diet think that coffee, which comes from roasted beans, a legume, a plant, is somehow able to be gotten away with on the carnivore diet. I just have to call this out. Everybody on the carnivore diet has coffee in their diet, and excessive amounts of butter, cholesterol, saturated fat, stuff that we do know that in excess with an imbalanced diet can potentially increase our risks of, heart disease. So, I'm just saying, man, I'm not trying to act like a medical professional here, but I'm just pointing out, this is not a balanced, healthy diet, and you can argue what a balanced, healthy diet really entails, especially when we have, maybe industry funding and stuff like that kind of getting in the way of those things. But this is not it. And also, the fact that somehow, every vegetable and fruit is bad and, you feel so great on the carnivore diet, but you have coffee is just nonsensical, doesn't make sense. And if you're going to appeal to, nature or whatever, like a lot of the people on the carnivore diet do, where they're like, oh, it's more natural to eat animal products, we've always been doing it. We've never had exposure to coffee in nature. So, I don't know, man. I'm just pointing out, there's just so many logical flaws with the carnivore diet that I just cannot agree with it. Whenever I hear an argument for it, it just doesn't make sense. And I'm sorry that I'm ranting, but when it comes to things like low carb, keto, there's at least some level of nutritional input. You're looking at your nutrients, your macronutrients. You can get in fruits and vegetables. You can get in a pretty good balance of nutrition, even if you're eating a really high fat or high protein diet. But when it comes to the carnivore diet, it is so ridiculously unbalanced that it just doesn't make sense.
Another full day of eating on a carnivore diet. Started off with this small bowl of ground beef for breakfast. Then I hit the gym about an hour later. I did 45 minutes on the Stairmaster, level 8, no breaks. I was dying, but it felt so good. And I was just thinking so much about how when I'm strict carnivore and I'm not eating any carbs or cheating at all, I just feel so good. My energy levels are so stable, and I feel the absolute best in the gym. My second meal, which wasn't until...
I just have to point out also, I know how they all say on the carnivore diet that they feel great, but you know what else feels great? Doing really, really hard drugs. And that's not an endorsement for narcotic usage. By all means, please refrain. But the point I'm trying to make to you is just because something feels good doesn't mean it's good for you, I would love to see some of the blood work from these individuals to actually understand where they are health-wise. So, if you want an anecdote, like all these other people provide, I can say that an animal product-based diet is suboptimal at best, and it makes your performance drop, in my personal opinion. Like, my performance actually was better, and in fact, at its best, when I was eating a vegan diet, low-fat vegan diet, high-carb, high-protein. But even that is, like, a complete anecdote. So, you know, I just feel like it's always so anecdotal when people are talking about how good they feel when they have a diet online, when in reality, we need to look at actual blood work. We need to look at, like, nutrition. We need to look at the statistics. We need to look at data and, like, meta-analyses and get actual information, because every time I see somebody promoting some sort of diet online, I literally think to myself, it's just so stupid. It's just a trend, and then it dies out a few years later because it's a stupid diet to begin with, and people just pick it up and think, oh, this is great, this is great. People just pick it up because it's trendy and whatnot. And I'm sorry that I'm ranting and I sound so passionate and also kind of like a little shit, given the subject, but it just is so annoying how people just pick this stuff up and they roll with it, and they do stupid things. It's like, what's the next diet gonna be? Like, people have had diets where they eat tapeworms, and they'll say, oh, I can eat whatever I want, I feel great. People say they feel great on anything. It's not good. Don't do this. I'm not trying to be a dick, but it's just not good.
About like 9 p.m. was shrimp, scallops, and more ground beef, and this was by far one of the best meals I've had in so long. Just look at it. It was amazing.
There was a study published by a Harvard group. They assessed 2,500 people who had been on a carnivore diet for 6 months and showed something approximating a 90% reduction in all disease symptoms.
Would love to see the study. I love how they just take, like, Jordan Peterson, like his audio, of him talking about one study of participants, and you don't know where the participants started out. You don't know, like, anything about the study, what they were actually fed on this carnivore diet, what supplements they were given, if any, if none. That's impressive. You know, like, you're just not given any information, and then people hear something about a study and they roll with it again. I don't know, man. I'm not trying to sound contradictive and defensive, but it's just so weird. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like, you know, even bypassing the health thing, it's like, this must kill the wallet. This must kill, like, your friend groups and stuff. This must make it much more difficult, probably, to go and eat out and enjoy yourself. And also, does anybody actually, like, I could be wrong, but does anybody actually want to eat, like, meat every single day and sticks of butter every day, and, like, that's what they're living off of? I don't know. That's more petty, but I'm just questioning this, man. It just seems suboptimal at best.
I'm on a carnivore diet this month, and here's what I ate today. I will be on the road all day today, and here's what I prepared for lunch. On the carnivore diet, it's important that you can eat the same few meals over and over again. The most successful people, regardless of whether the goal is muscle or fat loss, eat the same few meals over and over again. And for me,
And this is the thing, too. I'm sorry I'm interrupting this gentleman, but the thing I'm trying to point out also is your weight loss or your muscle building worth your health? Because I feel like these diets are, like, so ridiculously unbalanced. Like, this is the, like, opposite of raw vegan, and, like, even raw vegan's probably healthier than this. Like, at least raw vegan's not gonna give you heart disease. But, like, dude, every time I see this, I'm sorry, it's just so... it doesn't make sense. And I know I'm biased, but I just don't see how anybody could actually find success in, like, living this way. But also, more importantly, bypassing my own, like, petty perception, this is not a healthy diet. Like, the cholesterol is insane. The fat intake is insane. You're not eating any fiber. You have no gut motility, or it could be, like, liquid death squirting out of your cheeks. Like, I don't know, man. I think it's absolutely a bad idea. I think a fruit or a vegetable would do you some good, and I don't think it would penalize you.
I really like the combination of ground beef, bacon, and a little spice, and I'm off to the races.
And I've noticed also another thing is these people don't really eat, like, a ton of food all the time. Like, some of them say they do, but it's always like they'll eat one meal or they'll eat 2 meals a day or something like that. But I very seldom have seen somebody actually consistently eat throughout the day. So I think it is mainly weight loss based. I also think it interlocks with the whole OMAD, 1 meal a day trend. I think it's all kind of in the same kind of neck of the woods.
Time for breakfast. So excited right now. I have 1 whole pound of ground beef, and then you guys know I'm pretty sensitive to dairy, but I went to a farmer's market on the weekend and they had halloumi cheese, but it is from sheep's milk. So I'm trying it out today. Halloumi cheese is literally my favorite. You grill it in butter. Look, are you kidding me?
I have to ask, do you guys find that if you are, like, dairy sensitive, that eating, like, sheep's milk or goat's milk has had a different effect on you? Personally, like, I've had like horrible reactions when I have had dairy in the past to all dairy. Like, it triggers my eczema, it triggers my like tummy to be sad forever. It has like not done me very many good things. I am curious to see what you guys think because, you know, I haven't experienced tons and tons of dairy consumption over the years. So do you find that, you know, sheep's milk, goat's milk, or like milk from like farmers markets or anything like that has a different effect on you than conventionally pasteurized cow's milk products? I'm very curious.
Look how crispy that gets. Oh. It's freaking insane. This entire meal has more fat and protein than most people probably even get in their whole day.
I do wonder, actually. I wonder how much fat and protein is actually in this. You know? And I also wonder how much cholesterol is in this. And I also wonder how much salt is in this. I'm really curious. I really want to know what the macronutrient breakdowns are for these meals. And maybe I'll go through and list off some of these macro breakdowns because I really want to kind of give some perspective on like just basic like chronometer information on what people might be missing out or getting a lot of on this diet. Because sure, you're going to get a lot of protein and maybe you'll get like omega-3 fatty acids and stuff, but you're also going to get a ton of cholesterol, salt, saturated fat, and also like things like heme iron and things they don't really consider like when it comes to these diets. And I really wonder what also you'd be missing out on. If you eat a lot of organ meats, you're going to have a lot of vitamin A. You could risk vitamin A overdose. But at the same time, you're also not getting things like vitamin C. So I'm just so curious as to where these people, like if they're taking supplements or if they're not taking supplements. Like, you have to take supplements with this diet, right? Because this is just not going to keep you up. But I don't know, man. Let's go through like and break down some nutrition. And I'm just going to kind of break down some things in the corner, pop it on screen somewhere, and we'll kind of like, we'll see where this is. Because you know what? As biased as I am, we'll just listen to what like science and shit says, I guess. I don't know.
So good. Have a great day.
I will, but I hope you have a great time on the toilet too. I feel so bad for some of these people's bathrooms. I have a serious question. Like, I don't know, man. Some of that stuff looks good. Like, when I see shrimp being cooked, I'm like, you know, that would go so good. But then I always think like, ooh, shrimp, but then like rice, broccoli, bell pepper. Like, that'd be such a vibe. And then I'm like, oh, you can't eat any of that on the carnivore diet. You're just eating the shrimp. And then I also think to myself, I'm like, the halloumi actually looked pretty good. Looked like a delicious fried chip of awesomeness. But then I'm also seeing like eating just like spoonfuls of ground beef and wads of butter and stuff, and it must not be particularly pleasurable. Like, I feel like you really have to push it to find that this diet's gonna taste that good. I don't know, man. But maybe that's just because I've not done it and I'm not gonna do it.
I eat this $5 carnivore ingredient every single day, and it's called ground beef.
And this is the one thing that I have a serious question about, my people, is, you know, as much as I want to judge the people eating the cooked meat, now we're going to start judging people eating the raw meat. I'd say this is tier 2 on the carnivore diet controversy. The carnivore diet cringe. The carnivore diet iceberg. It goes exclusively cooked meat at the very tip top of this iceberg to now we're going into the raw meat. People will eat just raw meat. Raw ground beef. Not even raw steak, where you can kind of like understand like yeah, the bacteria that's on your meat isn't going to be all throughout it because obviously it's a dense piece of flesh that you're consuming. But then with this, you've ground it up in a machine that is exposed to God knows what, has oxidation potentially, like can be prone to that, and before packaging is prone to a bunch of things like bacteria and whatnot. So I'm really questioning now also, like, now we're getting into the raw meat controversy.
Ground beef and eggs keep carnivore diet budget friendly, and they definitely give you the biggest bang for your buck. It is delicious, nutrient dense, and you can enjoy it in so many different ways. Just a couple of meal ideas with just these 2 carnivore ingredients: ground beef burger patties with butter on top, poached eggs in butter, fatty.
Okay, I won't lie. The poached eggs actually looked kind of like a vibe, and also this looks like a vibe. Okay, I'm not trying to just say all the food looks gross. It's too easy. But the one thing I have to point out is this is not cheap. You know what's cheap? Rice, beans, frozen vegetables. Like, you can literally live on like 20 to 30 bucks a week. This is not going to be a $20 to $30 a week meal plan. This is going to be like hundreds of dollars a week. With the volume of eggs, dairy, meat, fish, everything that these people are eating, and also a lot of the time they tell you to source like organic, free range, like grass fed. This is going to get into the hundreds every single week. And I should know, trust me, like, I can count my grocery bills, and I can count how much money I spent, and I can look at what people are aiming for at the store, and let me tell you, like, I can sense it. I've got a 69 cents for these things, and there's no way this is going to be cheap or budget friendly.
Buttery egg omelet, ground beef meatball soup, delicious egg pudding.
Okay, I'm calling it out again. What in the name of God is this, please? I need to call out one thing with the food. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be a dick, but what is this? What is this? This does not look good. It looks like puke. I'm not trying to be a jerk, all right? But this literally looks like something I've thrown up before. You know? I'm not even kidding, my dudes. In fact, you know what? I know why I'm so screwed up about this. It's because this is literally what it looked like when my sink exploded and all of the, like, sewage and stuff came pouring into my kitchen at my last apartment. It looked literally just like this. That is probably why. It's triggering my PTSD. Yeah, the PTS double D batteries in my brain are just fucking wired right now.
Meatball soup, delicious egg pudding. To keep my meals high fat, I always supplement with some type of chilled animal fat. Either chilled butter straight out of the fridge or cold suet chunks, which is basically raw beef fat. Let me know if you'd like to learn any of the ground beef and egg dishes that I featured in this video. And drop a heart emoji if you would like to access my free archive of carnivore recipes.
At what point is eating raw sticks of butter gonna be fun? I just don't understand what the point of pleasure in this is. And also, one more thing. What recipe book can you have any level of, like, flavor with if it's all the same ingredient with no additional spices or flavorings or anything like that? What are we looking for when we have, like, carnivore recipes, but they all use the same thing and you can't use plants? And you know, you can't use a spice. Can you use hot sauce? Can you use anything? Like, I don't know, man.
Okay, so I tried a fat fast today. I am definitely not saying this is how you should do it. A lot of people do it and have way less calories or barely have anything, do a water fast with a little bit of fat, but I ate a lot. I didn't want to be hungry, and you still get benefits of a fast when you're only eating fat. There's still some autophagy happening. So I had a flatte in the morning, about a stick of butter, brown butter, and then I had some fat trimmings. I ate around 2,000 calories and 215 grams of fat, and I felt amazing.
Again, it's like I feel amazing on the carnivore diet. Always I feel. It's never like with blood results or anything like that. Like, just give me the blood results. Just show me your blood. Which sounds like a serial killerism, but like honestly, like there's no proof. No, what's the logic line? I'm sorry. I just think this is a terrible idea. Okay, I think it's a terrible idea for human health. And one more thing though, I have to point out. You're still drinking coffee. It's made from plants.
Alright, this is how I get 200 grams of protein on the road on a carnivore diet. Let's go. Alright, for our first meal, we got salmon and tuna sashimi.
I'm not gonna lie, that shit looks good.
Tuna and salmon sashimi are so good for you, and yes, we did bring our little food scale to weigh it out perfectly for you guys. The total for this meal was 106 grams of protein. Well, for meal number 2 and 3, we're gonna split this into 2 meals. We got 1/4 chicken breast from Nando's, as well as 5 chicken wings. These both have medium spice on them. After plugging the macros into my phone, we've already hit 200 grams of protein with this. Like I said, we're gonna split the wings and the breast into 2 different meals. Originally we had 3 restaurants planned, so today we're just sticking to 2. Peace out.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't eat chicken, and I think it's kind of gross looking, but seeing that, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad, in my opinion. I'm sorry I'm being judgy with all the food today.
After 4 years of the carnivore diet, do I ever get tired of eating steak every day? The answer is...
Did she do like a light sear on there or something? Like it's gray on the exterior, so I'm gonna assume she like seared it. But like, dude, again, like, I don't know, man. Raw meat on the carnivore diet. I know it's steak, so you can get away with it. It's like, I don't know if she Pittsburghed that thing, but like, dude, I don't know, man. This is just not a vibe. It's basically raw.
No. My taste buds have adapted and changed, and my body just feels so good on steak, so I eat it daily.
You know what? I can agree with one thing with these people, is I'm sure that if you do consistently only eat these things, you will acquire a taste for them because your body has adapted and your taste buds have adapted to be like, this is my only source of calories, this is my only source of fat, only source of protein, only source of nutrition that I am getting from my diet. So I can agree, like, you'd adapt to it flavor-wise, but your body's not gonna feel good forever eating just raw meat and eating a bunch of meat and stuff. It's just silly. Like, they always say, I feel so good. I really am curious if they're keeping up with their health, like blood work wise or anything like that, or if they're, you know, they're checking like their cardiovascular endurance, or they're checking their cholesterol levels or something like that, or if they're just winging it and throwing stuff at the wall, throwing that ghee at the wall. I don't know, man. I just think this is crazy. Like, there's no balance. It's not like, oh, eat a really healthy, like, diet with lots of animal products, but also vegetables and stuff. You know, like, as healthy as you can make it, because I know some people would argue. But I think you could make a healthy diet that is very heavy in meat, as long as you're getting tons and tons of fruits and vegetables as well. Like, I don't know. That is, like, kind of just me winging it, though, because when I think about it, I'm like, there's only so much meat you can eat before you start really pushing it. And, like, you know, what kind of meat are you eating? Like, what are the cuts? Like, you know, I feel like it's just so weird. I feel like you can just do a better diet with eating more fruits and vegetables as well as these things. Like, why do you have to go 100% only carnivore? Why can't you eat fruits and vegetables? Like, I just don't understand. So, bro, 7 days on the carnivore diet and you're spending $278. Like, that's way more than I spend in a week, and I buy, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm not here to be the healthy martyr. Like, I'm not here to be a martyr for health. I buy beer, I buy chips, like, I'll go and buy a bunch of fruits and vegetables and healthy stuff, but I also buy my, like, junk every now and then. And even when I'm balling out, there's no way I can go past $200 a week. There's just no way. And, like, that's if I'm, like, spending tons of money and doing recipe testing and stuff like that. But then I see this, and that is 1 week. 1 week, almost $300. I know it's not everybody. It depends on what you're going to buy. Like, sure, you might not get the wild boar, and maybe you'll save more money. But, like, you know, even so, like, if you get, like, free range, you know, the high quality eggs, it's going to be, like, $6.50 a carton. Say you use that in, like, 1 or 2 days. And from what I've seen on the carnivore diet, you're using those in, like, at least, like, one 12-pack a day. That's still, like, just one component of some of the carnivore food you're eating. So the minimum I could say for the carnivore diet is probably going to be like $150 a week, maybe. But even so, like, this is ridiculous. It's almost $1,200 or $1,100 or so every single month. Like, that's insane. That could pay off a car, dude. Like, that's my rent, dude. That's my literal rent.
So satisfying about warm, crunchy bacon, and then taking a bite of cold butter, and then washing it down with a warm Americano.
I'm calling you out. What's with the coffee, dude? Like, why are we doing coffee on the carnivore diet? It's beans. It's not fucking, like, it's not carnivore. I just don't understand. It's like they try and, like, I'm pretty sure the only reason that you're gonna need the coffee is because you're sluggish and, like, you need something to, like, get you going, or you're constipated and you need something to get you moving in a different direction, or something like that, dudes. But coffee is not carnivore. Do you see lions drinking Americanos? I think not. In fact, with the carnivore diet, the other flaw that I find is, you know, all carnivore animals, they don't even eat dairy. Like, they eat, like, animal meat, organ meat, you know, ruminant animal flesh. They don't eat dairy. They don't eat, like, butter. They don't eat chilled butter. Do you think they have a refrigerator? Like, I just don't understand what level of, like, logic we're trying to operate with. It's, like, totally delusional.
Or if you're not into butter munching right off the block, you can make a cute little bacon butter sandwich.
That was pretty cutie pops, but that is diabolical. Like, what is wrong with you people? We're making a sandwich out of bacon strips and butter. Can you even call it a sandwich at that point is the real question.
Day 30 of 30 days of the carnivore diet. I started this to get my energy and focus back and to get my bloating from the holidays down. So what happened? By day 3, my bloating was down, and by day 5, my energy and focus went way up.
I wouldn't be surprised about the bloating thing in some regard because you aren't eating any carbs and you also aren't eating any fiber, so your body's not retaining fluid from the carbohydrates it otherwise would. I think 1 gram of carbohydrate holds 4 grams of water. So if you just cut that out, you're going to lose a ton of water weight. And on top of that, fiber is also voluminous, so it also will increase, you know, the volume and capacity in your stomach and whatnot. It's also going to be more bloat to the body. So I'm not surprised about the, like, bloating going down thing. The mental focus and clarity is interesting. It could be, again, like this guy says he had the holidays going on and he wasn't eating very healthily, but it could also be like maybe ketone bodies are what are making you focus. Maybe hunger can increase your focus. Maybe non-hunger can increase your focus. Maybe you're getting more of a nutrient that can increase your focus. I'm very curious as to where the focus and mental clarity thing comes in, or if it's just completely psychological, or you're working on other things like your sleep patterns, your exercise patterns at the same time. It is a very curious state, but that one I actually am interested in learning about. I'm very curious. Tell me if you guys have any information on that. I'm going to be looking into it.
Day 9, I showed the 3 levels of the carnivore diet, and the video went viral. so I made a free guide to help people get started. I started on level 3 and then slowly added foods from level 2 and level 1. On day
So, level 3, like, let's just go through this. Okay, so this guy didn't actually do entirely 100% carnivore, I guess, because he did salt, water, and ruminant animal flesh. Then he did chicken, shrimp, from what it looks like, seafood, coffee, and, like, other meat. And then he introduced berries, avocado, coconut, garlic, jalapenos, or, like, some kind of hot pepper, herbs, butter, and I think milk? So it's like he wasn't eating really carnivore. Like, what is even a carnivore diet if we're going to be associating blueberries and avocados into that mix as well? At that point, it's omnivorous. So, I don't know, man. I think this is stupid. I think this is a nonsensical diet. I don't think you should do it. I think you should try and eat a more appropriated diet for the health of your heart and your wallet, as well as your toilet. So, I don't know, dude. I know I'm biased, but I think that the carnivore diet is not the best idea. I think you should try and find a diet that does incorporate fruits and vegetables, you know, indiscriminate of meat consumption, veganism, non-veganism, plant-based, or really high meat diets. I think that you should be including fruits and vegetables into that mix and maybe not be eating butter by the stick. But you know what? Let me hop on a different stick and get out of here. But that's the video. Tell me what you think in the comments below. What do you think of the carnivore diet? And also, this is only the beginning of the iceberg, my people. We can only go downhill from here, and I am so excited for you to be rolling downhill with me through this journey that we are going to be perceiving. Trust me, it gets worse. In fact, this isn't even scary from the things that I've seen. This is just one step in a very downward direction, all the way down. And don't worry, we're also going to be approaching raw veganism soon, and a host of other things that I've noticed online over the years that I'd love to talk about. But yeah, carnivore diet, don't recommend it. Don't think it's optimal. I'm not here to be like the standing ground for the perfect fitness body. I'm not here to like play my hand with all of that, but I'm just saying, eat your fruits and vegetables, my people. Out of everything you could do in life, eat your fruits and vegetables. Anyways, that's the video. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Slater.